What it do, booze? Welcome back to my channel, TNT with RGB. And today is a very special video because many of you know I am almost 3-year cancer survivor. And I've done a video previously about that time in my life when I found out in 2018 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer and the things that were going through in my life and the things that I was struggling with. But this particular video, I just wanted to do to share a little bit about my my journey and my faith and some reasons why I believe and truly believe that I'm still here today. So let's get into the video. Okay, so last weekend I, as I often do, was watching a replay of a sermon that Travis Green did about pressing through. And as you all know, that is one of my topics that I always talk about because every day is a struggle. Every week can be a struggle. Every month, every year. So every hour, every second, every minute can be a struggle, right? And the way that we make it through is pressing through. As I like to say all the time, push it. Like praying until I see the harvest. Pressing my way through until I see the harvest. So he was talking about that in one of the stories from the Bible that he talked about was the woman with the issue of blood. Now, if you are familiar with this story, you pretty much know what happens. But for those who are not, in this particular story found in Luke chapter 8, you will see that this is another one of the chapters of the Gospels that are, telling the story of some of Jesus's miracles. And this particular one, chapter was 2 miracles that he did. One was about a 12-year-old girl who, her father was reaching out to Jesus and letting him know, like, my daughter is dying. Can you save her? Can you heal her? Like, we don't want her to go. Of course, like any father or mother would do. So on the way there, through this hustle and bustle of a crowd of everybody just wanting to see Jesus because, you know, he was the quote-unquote celebrity of that time. And they just wanted to see, is he real? Is he real? You know how we do. Like, it's just pandemonium. It's like people, just imagine your favorite celebrity. Imagine your favorite actor or singer or rapper or whatever, just walking through your hood one day, walking through your town one day. You will see, and even in some movies and videos, you see how the crowd just gets bigger and bigger as they're walking through. And, you know, they may have the security guards, and in this instance, the disciples for Jesus, like, you know, helping him to push through, helping him to make his way through. And because he was on his way to heal Jairus' daughter. And there was a lady who kind of got lost in the crowd, but she heard that Jesus was passing through town, and she had been dealing with hemorrhaging. Some versions or translations say hemorrhaging, some just say issue of blood, but it was hemorrhaging, and she'd been, you know, just exhausting all of her money, all of her, you know, valuables, all her things to these doctors, trying to figure out what is going on with me. Why am I going through this? Why haven't you all basically been able to help me? And when she heard that Jesus was coming to town, she was like, you know what? I'm about to do, I heard he can heal. I heard that he was the man. So let me go out. I believe it. I'm going to do it. And if I could just touch him, I know everything was going to be all right. So she went through the crowd. Jesus is coming by. She sees her opportunity. There's just, imagine there's so many people just going around her, just a group, a crowd of people. And she presses her way through. She pushes, and all that she can catch or touch is the hem of his garment, or as some people say, just a little piece of his robe or clothing that he had on. And instantly she was healed. And Jesus felt that. He, like he said in one of the verses, he said that he asked, like, who touched me? And one of the disciples was like, Jesus, like, there's a bunch of people, bro. Like, what are you talking about? There's a bunch of people around. Everybody's touching you. And he was like, no, this was different. I felt something come out of me. I felt one of the, I think the New Living Translation versions that I read said that he felt this power discharged from him. And the lady was like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how we do, like, maybe I shouldn't have did that. Maybe I should have just mind my own business. Maybe I should have just stayed in my lane. I don't know, you know, when that doubt sets in. And then he finally finds out who it is, and she's trembling and kneeling before him, and he tells her, which is my favorite, my all-time favorite scripture or line or quote from Jesus in the Bible, is in verse 48, when he says, then he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. Y'all, when I tell y'all, the first time that I read that, as it often does, it doesn't hit until you actually have to go through something. And then when you go through something again, there's always a way that those scriptures that you've read previously run through your mind, and then you're just like, oh my gosh. Like, again, like I said last year, you all know, as I always go back to the heartbreak season, the broke foot season, the broken season of 2020. And I read that scripture again. In the midst of me healing, in the midst of me strengthening my relationship with Christ, in the midst of me rededicating myself with Christ and truly living an obedient life, like, I saw how much faith truly works, and how it changes the trajectory of your life, the perception of your life, how you view things, how you view the Lord. And just because he's real, y'all. And faith is so important. And everybody always wants to bring up faith. But until you really have to dig deep and go through something like breast cancer or heartbreak or deaths of family or loss of things, like, you truly don't know the weight, how much the, like, faith really means. And when I heard this story being talked about last week, it instantly popped into my mind when he said that particular part of the verse where it says, your daughter, your faith has healed you, go in peace. It brought me back to the very moment of me working as a nursing assistant and a unit secretary on the cancer, oncology floor or cancer floor at the hospital that I worked at previously for 6.5, 7 years. And the difference that I would see over the years of people who you know, were going through very traumatic times in their lives, or having to witness their family members go through it, and the difference between those who just relied on everything that the doctor said, they relied on everything that the test came back and just took their word for what it was, and truly, I don't think had enough faith, or just lost their faith and just focused on what they were dealing with now, versus the people who were of the faith, who, despite what they heard, despite what they were witnessing, despite what they were going through, despite what people were saying to them, they stuck it out, and they endured it. They hated the fact, of course, as we always do, that they had to go through it, or their family members had to go through it, but they kept the faith. And how different their diagnosis was, how different their journeys were, how positive they were, how even in their times of just struggle and just not knowing what was going to happen next, how much they shared their testimonies and their faith. And as I'm growing in my life, I understand, like, those moments is when your faith matters the most. And like this woman with the issue of blood, she, like me, was probably like, I've gone through so much stuff for so long. Like, oh my gosh, when is it ever going to end, God? Like, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm not one of these people out here just wrecking the world, having just chaos in my life. I'm trying to be a upstanding citizen, and here it is, the people that I see every day just being ratchet, being just filled with drama and negativity. It's like they're prospering and making it and getting it, and ain't nothing bad happening to them. But here I am working every day, trying to make ends meet, living on my own, paying bills, handling business, trying to be a good daughter, trying to be a good girlfriend, trying to be a good friend, a sister, cousin, whatever. And it's like, you just sending me all the drama. You sending me health issue after health issue. You sending me blood pressure. I'm getting cancer diagnosis. Somebody done shot up my apartment. Like, I done broke my foot. Like, Lord, what the heck is going on? And a lot of times, no, it's not always, like I said, just God allowing things. It's our decisions too. So I just want to make that clear. And sometimes it's Satan as well. But it's just in those moments, you feel like it, right? In those moments, you always be like, could it get any worse? And just like her, I'm pretty sure, you know, she's giving all that she has, like she's spending all her coins on, okay, this doctor said he know what to do. This doctor said they know what to do. This doctor said he can help me, and anything just to get me to just stop just feeling the way that I do, or feeling like nobody wants to be around me. Because, you know, in those times when you had certain issues, you know, you were isolated. You were looked at like, like I don't want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure she just wanted to be around people. She didn't want to feel neglected. She didn't want to feel like something was truly wrong with her, to where nobody could love on her. Nobody could help her. Nobody could give her the attention and the time that she needed because she had this issue. And could y'all just imagine, just to get even deeper, like the smell? Could y'all imagine the feeling of being like, I'm doing all that I can, but I still stink because I got this blood coming out of me. Like, everybody's looking at me like, ooh, girl, you see her? Don't go over there. Like, bro, you see her? Don't. Like, those type of things. And it's just like, anything. If the money can't help me, if these doctors can't help me, I heard about this man and I'm going to try him for myself. And that's exactly what she did. That's exactly what I did. And she didn't just sit there. She didn't just sulk. And she could have. She could have. I'm pretty sure. And not like me, I had and still have my moments where I do want to just be like, ugh, and just go through the list of complaints. Just go through the list of all the things that I feel like ain't happening on my time, right? But instead of doing that, she decided, you know what? Like I said, I heard that he's coming through my town. I'm going to put my faith into action. I'm going to move. And I'm going to try Jesus. As we always say, try Jesus, don't try me. Like, try Jesus. And she did that. She all the people in the crowd, all the voices around her, all the things that everybody else needed, like, she made her way and just went for it. And that's exactly how I feel I did when I got my diagnosis. The first thing I could have thought about was death or dying, because that's all I saw. The first thing I could have thought about was, well, this is it. This is the end. But I chose, and I remembered the plenty of men and women that I've seen that overcame their cancer stories or their journeys. Even my aunts and even my aunts, like, I saw the difference in how their journeys were. You know, like, I saw how, you know, one didn't let it just stop her and just make it the end. She pressed all the way to the end. And the other, she was scared. She was afraid. She didn't know how to, she didn't accept it. And it was like, it just took over so fast. But not that she didn't believe, but it was just hard for her to accept, which is truly understandable. But even still, like the lady with the issue of blood, I chose Jesus. I tried him for myself, and I like I said in one of my stories, I trusted him. I trusted that if this is something that he allowed to happen to me, there must be a purpose in it. There must be somebody that I'm supposed to reach, or somebody that I'm supposed to touch, or some testimony that I'm supposed to give that's going to allow somebody down the line, my age, older, younger, that's going through this, to really to know that they can get through it too. And as I said plenty of times, I have that rock that I got from the oncology unit that says you were given this mountain to show that it can be moved. And I believe that with so many things that have gone on in my life. Like, I have multiple testimonies, but this particular one with cancer has changed my life tremendously. And if I had not tried Jesus, if I had not endured through those nights where I couldn't go to sleep because of the steroid pills, or not being able to go number 2 in the bathroom, having to look in the mirror and see all of my beautiful hair falling out, and have my sister cut it off, or have people walk up to me and be like, and say just some off the wall stuff. I remember walking around at work, and just knowing that one minute I have all this hair in a puff, and then the next day I don't have any. And so people, probably not even thinking anything, look at me and say, what you cut all of your beautiful hair off for? You going for the short look? And I'm just like, if y'all only knew. And it's like, and I used to say, it's not by choice. And then I would have other people come to me, you are really rocking that look. Like, you look beautiful, especially when you put on your makeup. You look a doll. Like, this really suits you. You know what I'm saying? And then just having to endure with the loss of, like I said, my eyebrows, which are like my favorite things. But my eyebrows, weight gain, loss of taste, like super quick, like maybe within the first few hours of my first chemo treatment, just dry mouth. Like I said, just me not being able to sleep was the absolute worst, to where I would cry. I would just literally sit in the bed and cry, because I'm like, Lord, I don't want to think. My mind is racing, like, what is going on? Like, I'm going to lose my mind. But God, I held so tightly onto the prayers of my family members, the prayers of my mother, the prayers of my friends and my coworkers, the prayers of that I prayed, and that those pray for me, the witnesses and the people around me that shared their testimonies with breast cancer or cancer in their family, and just holding on to that strength, but most importantly, trusting God that I will get through it. And when I say that the things that I would encounter, the results of the tests that would come back that will be favorable, the things that the doctor was saying was just like, nobody could get the credit but God. And I brought up this story not only because of I wanted to remind myself and you all to press through whatever it is you're going through, and to know that God is with you in every step, and to know that when nobody else can give you the answer, when nobody else can do it for you, God can. Like, I seriously could have lost my mind, but if it was not for God, if it was not for my faith, if it was not for my decision and my intention of my heart to be like, Lord, I cannot do this without you. I don't feel good. I gotta go through chemo, and then for 2 whole weeks I have to smile and grin and bear it, and I feel like crap. Like, I don't feel beautiful. I lost my breast. I lost my hair. Like, is anybody else going to love me or see me the same? Is my boyfriend gonna say anything because of my weight gain? And is it ever gonna come back? And I'm sitting there as a secretary, seeing these young adults just coming in, and some not leaving, and when they leave, plain as day, they leaving in a body bag. Like, I was so terrified and anxious. I remember several times calling my mom and crying in the bathroom, like, I don't want this to be me. I don't want this to be my story. And then I would have what they call survivor's remorse, or survivor's guilt, to where it's just like, I'm going through the same thing as this person, but they're not gonna make it. Like, their results are different. Like, they're dying, they have children, like they have families, like and just feeling like why would, like, and then I'm telling people, like, I survived it, and then they're looking at me like, congratulations, but my people's is dying. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I would shut my mouth and I would just go inwardly, and I would just be like, well, I'm not gonna say nothing at all, because I don't want to like gloat or boast in the fact that I made it. You know what I'm saying? Because how would that make somebody else feel? But as often as I would think that, I would always get the same message from either my mother or friends, but that wasn't the story that God had for you. Even when it came to me being shot and seeing all of these other young ladies or men that die constantly, not even only in my city, but around the world, from gun violence and random acts of gun violence, that wasn't the story for you. You were meant to survive it because you have a purpose. You still have something left that God wants you to do. And what you should be, I don't like to say afraid of, is, but for lack of better words, what you should be worried the most about is not knowing what that purpose is, and not allowing God to use you to spread his word, to spread his message, to spread the good news, or to serve your people in humility, or to love on people, or to share your testimony to encourage somebody while you still have time. He saved you. He healed you. He protected you. He covered you. He has a plan for you. And though we may not understand in the midst of it, when he brings us out of it, like he told the lady, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. And I would like to add, go in peace and let everybody know I'm real. Share this with somebody. Now, in the end of that chapter, he told the people that were in the room with him when he brought the little 12-year-old girl back to life, don't go tell nobody. But he didn't tell that to that lady, and he didn't tell that to me. So any chance that I get, I'm going to let everybody know, like, God is real. And you want to know how I know? It's because he healed me, he saved me, he protected me, he covered me, he provides for me, he did all this for me. And my faith in him has only increased because of his faithfulness to me, because of his goodness and his grace and his mercy to me, because I could have been one of the ones. I could have, but I say thank you, Lord, today, because I'm about to celebrate, if God's willing, on Saturday, 3 years cancer free. October 2nd. 3 years. And I've seen so many people who have gone on, like I said, same age as me, younger than me, older than me, from countless things that I've had to go through. But they did not make it, and I did. And I believe with my whole heart that my faith, that my trust in God, that my walk with him, that just me trying him, and him knowing my heart and the intent of it, is what is keeping me. And I feel like I relate to the lady with the issue of blood, or the woman with the issue of blood, so much in the fact that I don't know how old she was. I don't know her name, but I know that she dealt with issues. She had an issue, but she never gave up. She never lost hope, and she knew where her source was. She knew where her help came from. And I truly, it hits different. Like I said, it hits different. I know where my help came from. I know where it comes from to this day. So there's no way that I can stay silent. There's no way that anybody can tell me that God is not real and God is not good and that Jesus does not save and heal. He's real. And I just encourage you all to understand that we all got issues. She had the issue of blood. I had the issue of sexual abuse and rape as a child, depression my entire life, emotional eating. I had the issue of fornication and looking for men through sex or giving of myself or my body. I had the issue of codependency, the issue of low self-esteem and self-worth, the issue of stage 2 breast cancer at the age of 30. I had the issue of being shot, and I had the issue of heartbreak. I had the issue of just brokenness. We all got issues. We all have issues. But the way that we deal with those issues, the way that we come from those issues, the way that we get delivered and free from those issues is by pressing our way through and touching Jesus, staying in his presence. She didn't have to be face to face. She didn't have to say, hey. All she had to do was reach out. All she had to do was press through that crowd, and all you got to do is press through the crowd of what everybody else got to say. Press through the crowd of what social media is doing. Press through the crowd of comparison in your mind. Press through the crowd of low self-esteem. Press through depression. Press through anxiety. Press through overwhelming thoughts. Press through the struggles of life and the trauma of your past that you use as an excuse to stay stuck. Press through and try Jesus. Just a little bit of Jesus. And just a little bit of Jesus, just a little bit of faith, as it says, the faith the size of a mustard seed. Mustard seed. Google it and see how small it is. The faith the size of a mustard seed. How much he can do for you, how he can heal you in an instant, how he can free you in an instant, but you have to try him first. And not just need his hand because you need saving, but truly desire for him to be the head of your life, the Lord of your life, and be the one that's in the driver's seat, not you. And live a life of obedience to him. Live a life of humility towards your people and towards him too, and know that if it had not been for him on your side, you don't know where you would be. And just like the lady with the issue of blood, just like me with my issues, just like you are with yours, remember who and where your help comes from, and that's the Lord. And the more that you try him, the better off it's going to be for you to know that to believe and to trust him, that even in the middle of your issue, he's going to bring you out. With just his touch, with just one touch, he's going to tell you also that your faith has healed you. Your faith has freed you. Your faith has delivered you. Go in peace and live in peace. Stay in peace. Give out peace. And tell others about it. Tell others about him. That's why I started this channel. That's why I am never going to ever be ashamed again or feel like I got to dim my light so somebody else can be like, why are you so churchy? Why are you so... Girl, because I love the Lord. That's why. We all got issues. I got mine. And I'm not ashamed of them. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid to talk about them. We all got issues. What's yours? And let God in. Press through. So you can feel and know the power that he holds as well. Go in peace. Peace.
Go down the list. He healed me. That's why. He delivered me. That's why. He brought me out. That's why I love him. He covered me when I should have been uncovered. That's why. He protected me from dying too soon. That's why.